Philip Mainwaring Johnston. Philip Mainwaring Johnston, FSA friba 1865–1936, also known as PM Johnston, was a British architect and architectural historian. Education. Philip attended King's College School, London. He studied drawing and painting under Professor de la Motte at King's College, London. Professor de la Motte was a photographer/illustrator who became professor of drawing and fine art at King's College. Whilst studying at King's College, he undertook many sketching trips in England and on the continent, an important part of every architect's education at that time. Career. Articled to John Belcher, Johnston was notable for his sensitive conservation and restoration work on many churches in the southeast of England and other historic buildings. He also designed 24 World War I memorials, was appointed as Chichester Cathedral's in-house diocesan architect and architect to the Stratford-on-Avon Preservation Trust. He designed several new buildings, mainly in the home counties, including churches, houses, vicarages, and model cottages. His activities included the restoration of Poling Priory, Sussex, as a residence for his brother, the late Sir Harry Johnston, the restoration of Prittlewell Priory, Essex, for the Corporation of Southend-on-Sea, and research work at St. Helens Priory, Bishopsgate. At Oxford in 1927, he gave expert advice to the Victoria and Albert Museum on an ancient wall painting then discovered in a house at Carfax, and in 1933 he was called in to inspect the ceiling of Jesus College Chapel, which thereafter was replaced by the present oak ceiling. In Surrey, his professional work included the churches at Caterham, Chaldon, Charlwood, Compton, Calston, Ewehurst, Stoke-de-Bemin, Warlingham, and Whitley. He was an advisory expert to the Surrey County Council. Johnston was vice president of the BAA and Surrey Archaeological Society, and was a pillar of the Sussex Archaeological Society. He wrote several historical works, although much was not published in his lifetime. Family. Johnston was born on 20th January 1865. His parents were John Brooks Johnston and Esther Letitia Hamilton. His father was secretary in London of Sun Insurance Company/Royal Exchange Assurance Company and founded the London Salvage Corps. Philip was the seventh of 12 children. His brother was Sir Henry Hamilton Harry Johnston, a British explorer, botanist, artist, colonial administrator, linguist. He also had a sister named Mabel Johnston and a brother called Alex Johnston, who wrote a book about Sir Johnston. PM Johnston married at Yapton Parish Church, Sussex, on 3 September 1902, Florence Anna Wynne, third daughter of the Right Reverend Frederick Wynne, Bishop of Killaloe and Clonfert. Their daughter was Thea Home 1904–1980, who was an actress in the 1930s and later a writer. He lived in Camberwell on De Crespigny Park from 1907 and at Sussex Lodge, Champion Hill, Camberwell now No. 42 from 1914. The latter was one of two pairs of semi-detached houses that he designed and built in the arts and crafts style. All four houses remain, and are perhaps the best example of the arts and crafts style in the local area. He was a member of the Catholic Apostolic Church. He is buried at West Norwood Cemetery. Notable works: church restorations, St. Andrew's Church, Ford 1899–1900. St. Botolph's Church, Hardham-C, 1900. St. Mary's Church, Yapton 1902. St. Mary Magdalene's Church, Lyminster 1902 and 1933. St. George's Church, Troughton 1903–4. St. Mary Magdalene's Church, Tortington 1904. St. Peter's Church, Preston Village, Brighton 1906. St. Peter's Church, Linchmere 1906 and 1936. St. Mary the Virgin's Church, North Stoke 1910. St. Peter's Church, Terwick 1910. St. Mary's Church, Chithurst 1911. St. Nicholas Church, Poling 1917. All Saints Church, Lindfield 1931. St. John the Baptist's Church, Westbourne 1932-33. St. Mary's Church, Stoughton 1935. St. Bartholomew's Church, Rogate Fittings. St. John the Baptist's Church, Clayton Lichgate. St. Peter and St. Paul's Church, Hellingly. St. Peter's Church, Selsey Reredos. St. Mary's Church, Walberton Lichgate Publications. A Schedule of Antiquities in the County of Surrey, 1913, Surrey Archaeological Society. St. Church and the Chapel of Ripley, 1901, Roworth and Company. Shorthampton Chapel and its Wall Paintings, 1905, Harrison. An Early Window and Wall Paintings in Whitley Church, 1918, Roworth and Company. Church Chests of the 12th and 13th Centuries in England, 1908, Harrison and Sons. Old Camberwell, Its History and Antiquities, 1919, J.R. Wigzell. White Swan Hotel, Stratford-on-Avon, etc. 1928. Trust Houses. Church of S. Mary, Stoke Dabernon, 1930, Spottiswoode, Ballantyne and Company. Photographs by Johnstone are held at the Conway Library of Art and Architecture in the Courtauld, London.